Today I have Andy Smale with me. He is another new meshwork specialist. He's going to be joining our community to help facilitate education on the site. He's here to answer your queries and questions about energy and carbon reduction. Look out for his future blogs, and he'll be appearing on some of our CPDs as well in the future. Andy's really passionate about helping people reduce their energy and environmental impact, and this is why we've got him to join and be part of our partnership. Anyway, so you guys can get to know a little bit more about him. I'm going to run through a few questions. The first one's going to be, how did you get into the renewable energy sector?
Well, thank you very much, Catherine, for that introduction. It's great to be on board. Yes, how did I get involved? Well, I started out training as a physicist, studied at the University of Sheffield, so a very good foundation for understanding about energy. And at the time, in the early 90s, there wasn't a huge demand for sort of renewable energy services in terms of sort of job opportunities, at least. So I actually made a sort of a segue into the IT world. And through that role, I was actually given time to work on energy efficiency initiatives in the department I was working in. I got about 2 days a week to work on those. So got into things like saving energy on desktop devices and server rationalization, all sorts of very sort of technical IT stuff. And things like working with schools as well was very interesting, because you actually end up working with young children who are, very often very passionate about saving energy. So very wide kind of remit in that respect. And then the recession hit, got made redundant with a whole swathe of other middle management, and I thought, let's give this a go as a consultancy business. And so it was a bit of a leap into the dark, a leap of faith, but I was confident in my abilities and gave it a go, and got a bit lucky with some help with a local charity. But it's been building ever since that time, and yes, I'm very happy that I made that move. So here I am today.
Oh, brilliant. Well, that's amazing. Interesting beginning as well, as a physicist and moving over to the IT world and being able to get that opportunity in the company you were in at the time. That's really interesting. All right. So my second one is, as we all know, there's an energy crisis at the moment. I just wondered, what's your view on what's currently happening with the energy crisis?
Well, yes, I mean, it's complicated, isn't it? There's a lot of factors involved. We're, coming out of this pandemic, and, energy demand is climbing up. And especially with the people that I'm dealing with, people have shifted their working patterns, much like yourself, and to some extent me as well, very much working from home for much of the week. And people are feeling the pinch in terms of the additional energy costs, especially heating costs that are arising. And now that's getting mixed in with the rise in energy prices. You look at some of the latest tariffs, and they're 35, 40, 45 pence a unit for electricity, which is, getting on for about 4 times what it has been in years past. Gas prices are going the same way. So all of these factors are coming together to make people increasingly concerned about their energy use. So yes, I can see it. It's a very difficult issue at the moment, because all these factors are pointing in the wrong direction.
Yeah. It's definitely worrying. It'll be, well, I say interesting to see what happens come April, but I think it'll be worrying for quite a few households at that point of the year. So my third one is, outside of work, what other passions do you have?
Well, first and foremost, I think my main hobby is cycling. So I've got 5 bikes in my stable. 2 of them live inside at the moment, because I haven't got enough space in my bike shed for all of them. So yes, I prefer road cycling, but when the weather's decent, when the trails are fairly dry, I'll go off-road as well. So that's probably the one I spend the most time with. But sort of a close second is photography. So I'm quite a keen landscape.
Oh, amazing.
And I've got a website if anybody's interested. And just to do some fairly sort of local stuff to try and keep the carbon miles down. and there's lots of lovely countryside, within sort of 10 miles of where I live in Hampshire. So yes, that keeps me sane.
Oh, brilliant. Cycling and photography, it's a good match.
Yeah.
Okay, and so this brings me to my fourth one. What is one thing that you have on your bucket list that you'd like to share?
Well, that's a very good question. Years ago, I went on holiday up to Scotland, and I haven't really made the efforts to go up there. And I guess this ties in with what I was saying about my cycling and photography. I mean, it's a glorious country up there. And at some stage, I'll take a few weeks off work and just take the bike and the cameras and everything else, load the car up and just have a good few weeks up there exploring the Northwest Highlands, and that for me will be absolute bliss.
Oh, that would be amazing. I still have not made up to Scotland. That will be on my bucket list as well.
I recommend it. Yeah.
Okay, and my final one is, if you could have dinner with anyone, who would it be?
Right. Well, I had to think quite hard about this one. There's several people I could think of, but I think more than anybody, Professor Kevin Anderson. He's Professor of Climate Change up at the University of Manchester, and I think he does some work out in other universities as well in Northern Europe. He's one of very few academics who's prepared to put his head above the parapet and just tell things how they are, rather than sort of pandering to the economic paradigms and sort of softening the blow with the sort of the news that we really should be fed in terms of how far we need to go and how quickly we need to go. So and he's a keen cyclist as well, so I'm sure we'd have an awful lot.
That's brilliant. Well, those are all my questions. Thank you so much for spending any time to be interviewed and joining us as a meshwork specialist. I know all our members will be really excited to meet you and read your blogs and find out more about you along the way.
Oh, well, look forward to meeting other people and sharing some of my expertise. So thank you very much.